Several boat train cars flew off in viaduct. Disembarkation on Interstate 5 in the December 18 crash closed DuPont, Washington, that leftward 3 corpse and more than rather than 100 injured. At the period, Amtrak 501 was manufacturing its inauguration travel of a new Seattle to Portland run named the Spot Disobedience Circumvent Path. Engineering personnel and conductors had security concerns, quoting rushed and completely inappropriate learning that leftward them since dangerously untrained for the new path, on to repeated source, consisting several immediately implicated in the learning. Team members historically boat train on new means of communication to introduce themselves in the signs area and some natural characteristics that differ of path to path. Several learning rests were executed at overnight, in as lot as 6 or more than team members filled in cars in fair 3 seats, that intended several trainees rode ago, in the black, the source told. Engineering personnel felt they did not get quite experience rest at the controls and could not correctly see to introduce themselves in the path. Addition to the learning concerns, the new locomotives for the Damsel run were strange to lot of the team members up before the short learning rest, the source told. Amtrak 501 was traveling at close 80 miles and time header in a rotate in a maximal rate of fair 30 mph. The engineering said the NTSB he skipped at low 2 signs that would include alerted him to sluggish downward. Later, as quickly as he saw the 30 mph mark at the begin of the trace, he attached brakes. Seconds after, the boat train derailed as it introduced the trace onto the NTSB paper. More than rather than a part half a dozen lawsuits been registered so far in the collapse, all approving how inappropriate team learning introduced to the crash. One of the lawsuits was registered by a explorer who was learning in the conduct electric locomotive while Amtrak 501 smashed. In an environmental wherever down there is a fast flop by control to accusation employees in disobedience, or to go following them if they paper security concerns. Down there was several indecision by employees to do whatever some rather than go on in the program, Petru told. Boat train crash inspector John Hyatt says it is precise to him the engineering had lose path of his position on the path, and blames the problems in learning and preparing, at low in portion, for the collapse. Hyatt is an inspector in the Bremseth Law Company of Minnetonka, Minnesota, that has registered a litigation on name of else Amtrak servant. Learning is cash, and in the instance it looks to me love they were concerned on cash and period and security was quantity 3, at top, on their listing, Hyatt told. The Spot Disobedience Circumvent was the definitive chunk of an $800 millionth draft by a Fed economical incentive for top speed railing. The collapse of Boat Train 501 is once again increase greater concerns on which lot urge a lax security civilization at Amtrak. In 2016, Amtrak Boat Train 89 smashed close Chester, Pennsylvania, murder 2 and damaging 35. Following a year-and-a-half-long inquiry, the NTSB liberated its received information on the Pennsylvania collapse, indicating how the accident down there showed insufficient security control through lot levels of Amtrak. NTSB President Robert Sumwalt signed, Amtrak's security civilization is lack, and is grounded to failure once again, before and except Amtrak changes the way it practices security control. He added, investigators found a labor management relation so hostile how security programmed became controversial at the bargaining spreadsheet, in the union's eventually refusal to take part. In supplement to questions on the learning, questions been grown on why the new link did not include favorable boat train monitoring, or PTC. That could include remotely slow the rate of Amtrak 501 and was due to be operative on the Spot Disobedience Circumvent link after the year. The judgment was done to outdoor the link up PTC was established. The Railing Security Enhancement Act of 2008 named for PTC to be executed popularly for occupant railroads and several cargo railroads by December 2015, that has been stretched to the end of 2018. The last date could be spurred future behind to December 31, 2020, on to Division of Transportation. just 24% of occupant rail means of communication had PTC vigorously operational as of the end of 2016. On to Washington Country Point, the Amtrak Cascades path will now not run on spot disobedience circumvent before PTC is active.